Dear students, in the last class we have studied that the refining of the crude metals. After extraction of the metals from their oxides, it has to be purified. To purify, we use the refining method. Already we have discussed two refining. One is distillation, other one is liquefaction. Now the third method of the refining of metal is electrolytic refining. Here, in electrolytic refining, the impure metal, that means the metal which you want to purify, is taken as an anode and its pure form is taken as cathode. For example, if you want to purify copper, then impure copper is taken as an anode and its pure copper is taken as cathode. It's a salt solution. It's a salt solution. Say for example, copper, then copper sulfate. Zinc means zinc sulfate, such as copper sulfate solution. For example, copper, if you want to go into refine, is taken as an electrolyte. Upon applying electric field, oxidation takes place at an anode and reduction takes place at cathode. At anode, metal loses the electrons, and at cathode, those electrons are gained by the metal, aqueous metal, to give pure solid metal. Nothing but the pure form of a metal from the impure goes to the solution, and from the solution, pure metal deposits on the cathode. From this, we will extract. Say, for example, you can explain the electrolytic refining of copper. Here, already said, impure form is taken as an anode. Nothing but copper, if you want to refine, impure copper is taken as an anode and its pure copper strips are taken as cathode. The electrolyte is acidified solution of copper sulfate, and the net result of electrolysis is the transfer of pure copper from its impure form, nothing but anode, to the cathode. At anode, oxidation takes place, nothing but copper loses 2 electrons, and at cathode, copper 2 plus gains the electrons to form copper. This copper is free from the impurities like antimony, selenium, tellurium, silver, gold, etc. Same technique we can apply for the purification of zinc also. In zinc purification, we have to take impure zinc as an anode, pure zinc is taken as a cathode, zinc sulfate solution is taken as an electrolyte. On applying electric field, the pure form of zinc from impure goes to solution. From the solution, pure zinc is deposited on the cathode. Hence, we can refine the copper or zinc metal by electrolytic refining. This is the schematic diagram you can observe here. The impure copper or zinc is taken as an anode and its a solution. And this is the pure zinc or copper, and zinc sulfate or copper sulfate solution is taken as an electrolyte. On applying electric current, a pure copper or zinc from the impure or nothing but anode goes to the solution. From the solution, pure is deposited over the cathode. Hence, we can refine the metal. Next method, which is used to get ultra pure metals if we need, which are used in semiconductors, especially the purification of germanium, silicon, boron, gallium, indium, etc. They are used as semiconductors. Such metals require ultra high pure. To get such purity, we are going for zone refining. In this method, the impurities are more soluble in the melt than in the solid state of the metal. Such metals can be purified. That means the impurities must be more soluble in its melt than in its solid state. A circular mobile heater is fixed at one end of the rod of the impure metal. The molten zone moves along with the heater, which is moved forward. As the heater moves forward, the pure metal crystallizes out of the melt and the impurities pass into the adjacent molten zone. The process is repeated several times and the heater is moved in the same direction. Observe the diagram. This is the metal we want to purify. What is to be done? This is the heater. When you heat strongly heated and the metal bar to be purified, which is moved from one end to other end, one end to other end. The entire impurity present in the metal, which moves through the one end, when we repeat the movement of the metal rod through the heater, at the end of the experiment, that end, that means which is filled with impurity, is cut off. The pure metal is separated out. The next method which are using for the purification is vapor phase refining. This method is applicable only when there are two conditions are satisfied by the metal. Condition number one, the metal should combine with any reagent and it should give a compound that must be volatile. Second, at a higher temperature, this volatile compound must decompose to give metal back. These are the two conditions has to be satisfied to apply vapor phase refining. Condition number one, the metal should combine with any reagent and it should give volatile compound. At higher temperature, that volatile compound decomposes to give the metal back. There are two methods here. One is Mons method, another one is Van Arkel method. This Mons method is especially used for the purification of nickel. Purification of nickel. In this process, nickel is heated in a stream of carbon monoxide, forming a volatile complex nickel tetracarbonyl. That's what I said. A metal is treated with a reagent and forms a compound that must be volatile. Here, nickel combines with carbon monoxide, forms nickel tetracarbonyl. This is volatile compound. At higher temperature, this decomposes to give metal back. So the nickel which is free from the impurities. We just observe here. Nickel combines with carbon monoxide at 330 to 350 Kelvin. It gives nickel tetracarbonyl. At higher temperature, 450 to 470, it decomposes to give nickel back. This is the first method of vapor phase refining. Another method is Van Arkel method. In Van Arkel method, this is mainly used for the purification of zirconium or titanium. This method is very useful for removing all the oxygen and nitrogen present in the form of impurity in certain metals like zirconium or titanium. Remember, this is the method used to remove the oxygen and nitrogen present in the form of impurity. The crude metal is heated in an evacuated vessel with iodine. Just observe zirconium which combines with iodine and form zirconium iodate. This zirconium iodate is once again what is a volatile. At higher temperature, this decomposes to give what? Zirconium back. Similarly, instead of zirconium, you can also purify titanium. And the last method of the purification of metals is chromatographic technique. In chromatographic technique, here there are different methods we have under chromatography technique, column chromatography, thin layer, paper, etc. Different methods are there. Every method, they have the same principle. Principle is same. That means in chromatography, there are two phases. One is stationary phase, another one is mobile phase. The stationary phase is commonly done in the fixed phase. Stationary is nothing fixed, nothing commonly done by either silica gel or alumina is commonly used to prepare the stationary phase. And mobile phase. In mobile phase, the metal which we want to study, which has to be dissolved in a suitable solvent, that is called as a mobile phase. The stationary phase is fixed in either column or paper or glass plate. It is fixed or it is coated. For example, in a column chromatography, the stationary phase is filled by either silica gel or alumina gel, and it acts as stationary. Above this layer, above this, we have to place mobile phase. That means the metal to be purified is dissolved in a suitable solvent and placed above it, and it is left for several days. The slow movement of the mobile phase in stationary phase give or different bands indicates the different impurities present in the metal. That's what the simple technique present behind the chromatographic technique. See here, this mixture is put in a liquid or gaseous medium which is moved through the adsorbent, that is called as a mobile phase. Different components are absorbed at different levels on the column. That's what I said. When the mobile phase moves down through the stationary phase, it forms different bands that is clearly based on the adsorbent capacity of the stationary phase. Later, the adsorbed components are removed by the using suitable solvents. Depending upon the physical state of the moving medium and the adsorbent material, and also on the process of passage of the moving medium, chromatographic method is given the name. That is, for example, you can consider in one such method of column, aluminum is prepared in a glass tube and a moving medium containing solution of components in a liquid form. Here, alumina which act as a stationary phase and the metal to be studied which is dissolved in a suitable solvent is called as what? Liquid form. This is an example of column chromatography. This is very useful for the purification of the elements which are available in minute quantities, and the impurities are not very different in chemical properties from the elements to be purified. Remember, this is to study only the presence of the number of components or the number of impurities present. There are several chromatographic techniques such as paper, column, gas, etc. are used nowadays for the purification of metal. Schematic diagram of the chromatography. Now, at the last, we'll move for the uses of the different metals. First, the uses of aluminium. Aluminium foils are used as wrappers for chocolates, you might have seen. Then, the fine dust of the metal is used in paints and lacquers. Aluminium, being highly reactive, is also used in the extraction of chromium and manganese from their oxides. Wires of aluminium are used as electricity conductors. Alloys containing aluminium, being light, are very useful, especially in aircrafts. You might have seen. Second, you can go for uses of copper. Copper is used for making wires used in electrical industry and for water and steam pipes. It's also used in several alloys that are rather tougher than the metal itself, such as brass mixed with zinc, bronze, copper with zinc, manganese, copper with nickel. The mixture of two or more metals are called as alloys. Then we can go for a use of zinc. Zinc is used for galvanizing iron, that means to protect the iron. It is also used in large quantities in batteries as a constituent of many alloys. Brass, such as copper 60%, zinc 40%, german silver, copper 25 to 30%, zinc 25 to 30, nickel 40 to 50. That's end with the isolation of elements.